First things first, getting me to sit, the main thing comes to the pitch, right? So when it comes to a few different things to help, so the main thing is, I think, having a bit of length of time on the phone. You get a lot of BDAs who, might be, so do their pitch, let's say they book the guy in on, tax planning, UK pension, whatever it is, and they have a quick 5-minute call that goes, yeah, okay, it could be interesting about. And we go, okay, cool, when are you free? Next Tuesday, 4 p.m, sweet, done, put the phone down, yeah? If you have a bit of chat and you go for a proper pitch, you're more likely to sit. A few reasons being, one, I think one of the big reasons people will sit in meetings, me and my sit rate is quite good. I mean, once you have a bit of banter, a bit of rapport with people, I think they're more likely to, they don't want to let you down, right? So I think little things like, when you're going through, you guys got a qualifying sheet and gone through that, it's a bit of information you need to get. So when you go through and you're getting information like, how many kids they have, their wife, what she does, things like he tells you about got a mortgage in the UK, so giving all this information, the chance of him swerving when he's giving you all the information that you're meant to get, he's going to be like, I'll give him Bertie all that information off a cold call, might as well sit in the meeting, he's got all the info he needs. So I think if you go for a quick call and it's quite generic, quite brief, and more likely to, F it off really, right? So I think that's really key, getting the guy to buy into you, having a bit of personality and actually, having a bit of connection, even if he doesn't want to sit in the meetings, he's going to be like, I don't want to let that Bertie kid down. So I think that's really key. A big one for me, does Sarge, when he went for a pitch, go through cross-selling? Does anyone know what that is? Cross-selling? Okay, cool. So this thing of pitch training, well, pitch training is quite a hard one to do because everyone's got a different pitch, I've had pitch training for, 20 plus people since I've been in Devere. So, I take little bits, little intros from him, like closes from him, rapport building from him, you kind of make it into your own. But a big thing for me, so let's say you pitch someone, you introduce yourself, explain for your services, we say, and the guy goes, yeah, okay, great, I'd love to hear more about the UK pension service, right? So once you put to the UK pension, what you do, once you're qualifying them, when you're going through and you ask them, okay, how old are you, John? And the guy goes, 42, and you go, okay, so you're out here with family? And he goes, yeah, I've got 2 kids. You go, okay, well, John, one really key thing we do is actually we help education planning out here. So, saving up for kids, university fees in the future. So now the means about UK pension, and it's also about family. So also now you moved out here recently, are you insured out here internationally? Now the meeting's about that, and that. Okay, and you say UK pension, how many years you work? 15 years. And you go, okay, we can also help with national insurance. So now you help out afford the things. So now the meeting, rather than being about one thing, is way less likely to sit if it's just UK pension than if it's UK pension, education planning, insurance, national insurance. You know what I mean? So that's really key, having a few things to tie them in for the meeting, yeah? So I think those are really key things in the pitch. I think a really key one is, so I don't know if Sarge did it, I think one really, really key thing is once you go through your pitch, I don't know what kind of structure you said, but it's intro, and then you kind of go through the rapport questions, and then you qualify them. What's really key, when you actually go on the phone, so the way I do is I do a pre-close, so when I first, the guy says UK pension, we use the same example throughout the whole training session. So John, 42 years old, when I go, okay, we'll do next Tuesday, 4 p.m, whatever it is, when I go through, qualify him, speak to him a little bit. Once I go, okay, John, I'm going to send you a calendar invite after this. What I tend to do is do a bit of report after that. So I try to go, so what's your plans for the weekend, John? So things like that, when he goes, oh, you're brunching on the weekend, John, you're playing golf, whatever it is. So when you talk to him next, you have bits on golf, you just confirm a meeting, you go, oh, John, how was your round of golf, how many balls you lose, whatever it is, I think it's really key, rather than just going, okay, Tuesday, 4 p.m, and hang up the phone. I think it's good to have a bit of conversation, a bit of natter after, yeah? Okay, another really key one, I think, which helped me massively, is getting a work email address. When you guys had your meetings, the 2 meetings you swerved, was it a personal email, work email address?
One was personal.
Yeah, so same thing for me. When I check my Gmail account, once a month. I check my work email. I have it on my computer constantly. So I have 2 screens. I always have my calendar and always have my email up on one. So I think naturally people check the work one way more. So I think if people say to you, if you go to them and say, "Can I get your email?" I'll give you a Gmail. Say, "John, is it okay if I get your work email address?" Because I appreciate I'll never check my Gmail either. So is that okay? So if you confirm that, get a work email, I think it's way more likely to sit because you would check it way more, So when you guys send your calendar invites for meetings you've booked so far, what do you do usually? What's your kind of in the text, etc.? Do you send 2 emails? Do you send 1? What's the format?
Depends on the consultant.
So who are you booking for at the moment?
So I go through Claire, but she'll book it either herself, Alex.
She'll send the calendar invite herself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll send the calendar invite, but she'll tell me which consultant, so it depends on which one.
Right, so you kind of book him and she'll pass it out to whoever, yeah?
Yeah, say for example, Claire, you just do it through our Calendarly, and then, for example...
Well, for first as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jordan, Alex do single emails, and then Callum does
Okay, yeah. So the thing is, with all of this stuff, every consultant has a different strategy, a different thing they like. One thing I think is really key when I send a meeting invite, I see some people do this where, so my invite, so let's say I'm working for Niall. I don't know if you had training with him yet, so Niall's one of the managers, I work for him. When I do my calendar invite, what some people do is they go, DeVere Group introductory meeting or something like that, yeah, it's a title of calendar invite. I think that's really shit, because I think people, the way I do it is I do Niall Horahan, so I put the consultant's name, Horahan, I'm going to write the whole thing out, and then I put the client's name, John, it's pen shit, isn't it? I put John whatever, and I put review meeting. Reason why I do that is when they see it in their calendar, which they will see in a work email calendar, basically when they see the consultant's name, they feel like they're letting down the person. If it's like if it's DeVere in there, I mean, they feel like, oh, it's a big corporation, it's about the company, right? I think it gives a personal touch to them. It makes them think, okay, it's actually gone into Niall's diary, Niall's taking time out of his day, rather than the company's taking time out of their day, which I think is the same thing for me. If I'm booking a meeting in with, a person, personally that I know, I'm way more likely to let them down rather than if it's, a meeting with a company I don't know who I'm speaking with, So I think that's really key. So how are you guys confirm your meetings so far?
Usually, I've booked Darren.
Yeah.
He's asked me to either usually WhatsApp,
Yeah.
occasionally a call, just drop me WhatsApp in the morning.
Yeah.
Some years, just gentle reminder, just like hi, hope you're well, whatever.
Yeah.
Gentle reminder for your meeting with Darren at 2 p.m. today. Looks forward to speaking with you.
Yeah, cool. So.
I don't hear back from that. Usually I'll call them like an hour before, and usually I send a message like the morning if it's an afternoon booking or if it's in the morning.
Yeah.
So I send it the night before.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good way of doing it. So for me, when I'm doing my close of the pitch and I get the email address, so can you invite, I always ask them, especially to WhatsApp you on. Sometimes people don't actually, don't like you texting on WhatsApp, or maybe it's a case where they have for me, first 2 years I was out here, my UAE number wasn't my WhatsApp, it was my UK one, but I changed it over. So confirm it's the right WhatsApp, and then also, things like, for example, say exactly what you said. If today we're on Wednesday, yeah. So if I'm booking a meeting in for tomorrow, I'm not going to text them again later today. But if it's for next Tuesday, I'm going to text them the day before. If it's a bit further away. If it's in a couple of days, I'll just text in the morning of. And always make sure you send them. So for me, it's one thing that's really key as well. When doing calendar invites, doing WhatsApping, confirmed meetings, is always let them know, because this is their first professional, encounter with you, right? So if, let's say, I'm going to send you a calendar invite in the next half an hour, make sure to send them the next half an hour. If I say to them, I'm going to send you a WhatsApp, 2 hours for the meeting, whatever it is, make sure you send it 2 hours for the meeting. If you're a bit late doing that, whatever it is, it's unprofessional, right? So it's their first professional interaction with you, which is quite key. So with confirming, so a big one, I think, which is probably the most key thing, I think, with getting sit rate right, most important thing is, you guys are only booking them in a certain range. So what I mean by that, you're not booking 2 weeks in advance, etc. Have you done that yet?
Yeah, no.
What's the furthest you booked in away?
Next Friday.
Next week?
Yeah, usually about 3 days.
Okay, yeah, I think 3 days is good. So I don't know the stats, but I would presume if there was a stat to say, I think you put the same day, it seems a little desperate. It seems like, Noel's free all day today, tomorrow, etc. It means he's unbusy, he's probably not good at what he does, right? So I usually go, firstly, I would presume, rather than sort of saying, the worst thing you do when you're closing a call, right, with someone, is saying, okay, when would you possibly be free over the next week or two? I just presume, so if I'm calling Wednesday, I say, okay, when suits best, Thursday or Friday this week? I presume. If a guy can't do Thursday, Friday, no worries, when suits best, early next week, right? If I say we're free all this week, next week, what people tend to do is they go, okay, well, what's the latest date possible? Friday, And I think the stat is, if let's say I booked in someone today for tomorrow, I think there's 80% chance I'm sitting. If it's Friday, I reckon 60-70% chance sitting. If it's Monday, Tuesday, 50% chance sitting. If it's, end of next week, I reckon it's like 30-40% chance. If it's 2 weeks away, I reckon 10% chance of sitting. Do you know what I mean? And the closer you have it, the higher chance it has of sitting. I think it's really key, because things come up, people, and also what you got to think is when you're calling this person, you're getting buzzed up about looking to pension, education plan. Fuck, I never really thought about that. They start getting buzzed up in their head about the call. They go to their wife, say, this is what Bertie said, really good to sit on this meeting with us. Over that 2 weeks, the longer it is, the longer they lose that buzz from your initial call of getting it sorted, the more they forget the information. So I think the sooner it is between the call and the first meeting, the better. So a couple of things which I don't really do, but another one with confirming meetings which you can do. I know Dan Barron, who's one of the best consultants in the office, what he does always, is he tends to call on a Monday morning, get your consultant to call all the first of the week, even if it's later that day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and he can pre-qualify, have a bit of a chat with them, and be more likely to sit. I don't do that personally, but I know that's something which some people do. But yeah, so I mean, with calendar invites and with confirming meetings and the pitch stuff for that, so I mean, it's quite a short training session. There's not really too much you can go in, but there's a few little tips and tricks. If there's a few things I'd say take away, I think the main thing comes to your pitch. Having a proper call with them. If you have a 2-3 minute call, but I'm very unlikely to sit. If you have 15-20 minute call, someone very likely to sit. Things like how long it is between the first call and actually the meeting, I think it's really key. And I think in keeping your confirming process, whether it's calendar invites and things like the name inside, having a bit of information there, good text, and doing things like WhatsApping and doing what you say, and having a good professional encounter, yeah? So you don't have any questions or anything different, or?
So with your call time,
yeah,
what would you say is like a good
perfect.
call time?
So it depends on the person, right? So you get some people who are quite analytical people, you call like a CFO, someone who's like very financy and techie. A lot of the time you can sense my initial start of a pitch is I go, obviously, classic, I go, good morning, it's Bertie from DeVere Group, how are you doing today? Morning, John, it's Bertie from DeVere, how are you? You can sense from a reaction. If someone goes, I'm very well, thank you, Bertie, how are you? I'm like, yeah, very well, good week so far. Getting a bit hot in the summer, what about yourself? Are you going away in the summer? If that person wants to report, if it asks you back. If someone goes, what's this about? They want to get straight to the point. If someone's like, quite a technical person, usually 5-10 minute call. If someone likes to have a bit of a chat, which I like to do, so then usually, a bit longer, 10, 15, 20 minutes, so I mean, it depends on the person really, but I'd say anything less than 5 minutes, I think, is probably not going to sit. I'd say the ideal time would be 10 to 15 minutes. And there is such a thing as overkilling it. You're on the phone for half an hour for someone because you've got to leave information for consultants to say, is that your problem? I can see by your face.
I had a 23-minute call.
23-minute call.
Yeah,
but look, I'd rather someone do that as a BDA. I'd rather someone do that than have 3-4 minute calls every time. I think you've got to have a bit of personality on the phone. I think that's key to getting people to sit. But yeah.
I worry that mine are a bit short.
Yeah.
Because people that like down what you call are like big four, partner level above. So
right.
I call them, it's very rare that it's how are you.
Yeah, so if you call a CEO, you want to get straight to the point, right?
Yeah.
It's just how they are. So I mean, it depends on the person. Some people, it depends what time you catch them. Yeah. So some people, you have to be a bit quick, Yeah. I mean, my best booking I ever done was about 3 years ago. I remember I booked in a guy to come into the office, a CEO of HBC. And the guy went to me out here, and he's probably the best meeting I've booked, right? And I probably ever will book. Basically, the guy, I called him, I promise you, I said, yeah, cool. He goes, I'm really busy, what's about? Oh, shit, I've got to throw something out there that's going to excite him. So I was like, I deal with high-end investors and tax and trust planning. He went, okay, I'm interested. I was like, okay, well, when are you free? He goes, in 3 weeks' time, Tuesday, 4 p.m. I went, okay, our office, your office. He goes, I don't know, I'll work it out, let's do a Zoom maybe. And I was like, okay, cool. Sent me a calendar invite, I promise you, it was a 1 minute call. Put it in my diary, 3 weeks away. And I thought in my head, I was like, there's 99.9% chance he does not sit. And then I went to Nigel, and Nigel's like, is he sitting? I went to know, he goes, should I throw out a link? I was like, wouldn't even bother really, mate. He threw out a link, the guy sat and had 3 or 4 meetings, nothing happened, but you never know. So with a CEO, sometimes, the guys are already busy, sometimes you have to book a bit in advance, but, the truth is, CEOs are great to have, and big hitters, people worth loads of money, but the truth is, if you look at like where DeVere makes its money, it's quite rare people get those kind of clients. You can definitely get them, people do them, but the average booking we get, I mean, Nigel Green came into the office, I think it was beginning of this year, last year, he said the average client DeVere is a British person who's, early 50s and is director level position. That's kind of a bread and butter for DeVere. So, so I mean, look, the CEOs are great to have, but yeah, you're right. If someone's a really high level position at a big company, they tend to be a little bit busy. But, I actually think also, and a big thing that helps, with actually booking people in, getting people to sit and people to do business is herd mentality. So you're calling big four accountancy firms, right? So for me, my best clients are all PwC and stuff like that. So a lot of them are COOs at PwC. Yeah, and I like because they're straight to the point. So for me, I know what's really key when booking someone at HBC or PwC, a big bank, whatever, is knowing where the office is. So for me, what I say to Nigel, so he meets people at PwC the whole time, I know exactly where the offices are. So when I call him, I go, look, John, I appreciate you calling me in times before, it's Bertie from DeVere Group. The reason I'm calling is a little bit different to other calls you had before. I'm calling on behalf of Nigel Lee, works with your colleagues at PwC. You're in the Email Square office. Yeah, I am. Okay, Nigel meets a lot of your colleagues at Ultra Brasserie. And the guy goes, okay, fuck. So now he goes, okay, he knows for office I'm in, the building I'm in, he knows a cafe downstairs, he says he deals with a lot of colleagues, so he's probably not bullshitting. So I think if you do that, people actually think it's a bit of a herd mentality, right? So, you know, if someone thinks, if you say, you know, you work with a lot of their colleagues, and, you know, kind of prove to them you know a bit about the company, etc., then the odds are they're going to believe you and think, okay, well, what's John down the corner, you know, learning that I don't know, you know? So I think that definitely helps getting bookings.
Because Darren gave me basically one of his clients, which he gave me today, he's from Deloitte, and he basically asked him, he said, we can use his name. So I've been using his name this morning. In the UAE office. Do you think it's worth me like finding out where the office is and so that I can kind of like
Email Square, same as PwC.
Email Square.
Yeah, if you say that, I think it's like little things like, for example, if I call a lot in Saudi, do you guys know Neom? Have you heard of it, the company? So Neom's like the biggest construction company, like it's owned by, you know, the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, you know, the Saudi royal family. So got crazy projects. So I know all about the projects. So when you call people Saudi working construction, oil and gas, usually somehow the link to the Neom project of some sort. So for me, I tend to know, like, you know, completion dates, stages for assets. So when I call them, they can tell that I actually do deal with people like them. So when I say, I've got a client working on the line, you know, he says it's an absolute nightmare at the moment, you know, I know it's phase one, which is doing the digging, how you finding is a hectic in your department on the line and stuff like that, and the guy goes, okay, fuck, he actually does know a bit about Neil. You know, he's not bullshitting saying, I work with colleagues, you know, he actually backs up a bit of information, whether he knows where the office is or he knows, you know, a name, you know, a name's the best way of doing that, right? Saying, we work with this person here, you know, so I think that's really key, but yeah. Anyway.
So
yeah, well, I just think, you know, that I'd say things like even Darren hasn't, you know, just say, you know, Darren comes down quite often to Email Square and meets people at Ultra Brasserie, you aware of a cafe? Obviously, it's the bottom of his office. He knows what a cafe, so, you know, it makes him think, you know.
would you say it's worth, so say for example we found the client sort of basis that we'd like to talk to, is it worth just getting to know the area, where they are, you know?
Yeah, so another good little trick. So what I do quite a bit, let's say I'm calling someone who works at Serco. Do you know Serco?
No.
Big construction company out here, right? So Serco, or let's say Microsoft, everyone knows Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
So Microsoft, if let's say I'm calling, I've got loads of bookings of this, so basically what you tend to find to buy, especially whether it's like Internet City, you've got IBM, you've got Microsoft, you've got Oracle, all the big tech companies all in one little space. So if I'm calling someone at Microsoft, let's say twice, I can't book them in, but I have quite a conversation, what I might do, even if Nigel's not there, I'll say, it'll be Thursday morning, I'll be like, look, just thought I'll give you a quick call, John. Nigel's actually down at Panifico Cafe, which I know is the bottom of his office. He's meeting a couple of colleagues. Whilst he's down there, would you free to meet for a quick coffee? And people go, I don't know, you tried a couple of times. As he's down there, I might as well, you know. If it's Serco, I might say, yeah, Nigel Rolex Tower, which I know is their building, yeah. So little things like that. So is it right if he pops in for a quick coffee, you know? Are you free for a quick chat? You know, people more likely to say yes when you say yeah, and when they actually realise that Nigel's actually already there, or Nigel's already there.
Even if you do it like even if they're not, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If Darren's got nothing on Thursday morning, and you say, oh, Darren's an Ultra Brasserie, already meeting a couple of your colleagues. Yeah. So, but don't get confused. There's an Ultra here as well. So it's one day.
Yeah. Just because I know that the lad who sits next to me, Matt, is really good.
Yeah.
He says it'll be like, oh, Michael, for example, his consultant is meet a couple of your colleagues at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You've got any down in the office.
100%. And things face to face is people. I don't think I've ever had a face to face swerve. So if you do Zooms and stuff like that, face to face is people way more likely to keep in a diary. And if they don't keep in a diary, can't, because there's such thing as a bad swerve and a good swerve, right? So a good swerve I had yesterday, right? So the guy said to me, so I've got a really good project on, really big project, I've been called in last minute, can't make today, really keen to chat, are you free Thursday or Friday this time? So if the guy gives you a reason and says, here's another time, I'm free then, that's okay, you know, things do happen, things pop in the diary. Sometimes Niall and Nigel miss meetings, you know, something pops up, a big client comes in, or, you know, they're ill, whatever it is, you know. So things do happen, but, you know, a bad swerve is when people don't say anything, you confirm me, you start calling him 5 times and not answering, we're leaving you on red, that's a bad swerve, right? So if it's face-to-face meeting, people, if they can't make it, they tend to give you a day's notice or a few hours notice and, you know, give you a bit of a reason, you know, so... and also close rate, so face-to-face meetings, I reckon a close rate, let's say if your consultant's got a close rate over Zoom of, you know, 1 to 10, let's say, 1 in 10 meetings does business. If it's face-to-face, it'll be 1 in 5, 1 in 3. So if you can do face-to-face, always face-to-face, but the last thing you want to do is send your consultant to the other side of Dira, you know, a horrible area to Dubai, and, you know, 7 p.m. on a Friday, and, you know, the guy's got no money, we can't do business. So, yeah,